Now, the U.S. is taking new action tonight as local officials demand answers after weeks of unexplained drone sightings across the Northeast. CNN's Polo Sandoval has details on a new technology being deployed to New Jersey.
The federal government now preparing to deploy drone detecting and tracking systems to 2 military facilities in New Jersey, where mysterious drone sightings began 4 weeks ago. That's in addition to what's already, according to the Pentagon today, a very robust intelligence network. But the time of the deployment, not yet clear, sources tell CNN. The president-elect offering a drone theory of his own about the mysterious sightings first reported over New Jersey, including over his golf course.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went.
Donald Trump's declined to say if he's been briefed on the investigation into the unexplained drones. He did seem to eliminate the possibility of foreign involvement, a theory that had already been previously shared by the current administration.
I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it.
Unanswered questions have hovered over some residents in New Jersey and beyond. Similar drone reports have come into authorities in at least 6 states now. The FBI, which briefed New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy Sunday night, insists many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft. DHS maintains the unexplained sightings don't pose a public safety threat and stated unequivocally that not all of them are airplanes.
There's no question that people are seeing drones, and I want to assure the American public that we in the federal government have deployed additional resources, personnel, technology to assist the New Jersey State Police in addressing the drone sightings.
That does little to assure elected officials on both sides of the aisle.
They've been trying to discredit these sightings from the very beginning.
Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut told CNN that assurances from the government, quote, fall flat.
My fear is that the federal government knows little or nothing about most of these sightings.
2 weekend incidents demonstrated a disruptive potential from drones in civilian and military airspace. 2 men in Boston were arrested for trespassing after flying dangerously close to Logan Airport. And in Ohio, flight restrictions were temporarily put in place due to drone activity at one of the Air Force's most critical installations. And tonight, the FBI in Newark is warning that they've received multiple reports of pilots in the air getting hit in the eyes by lasers from people on the ground, mistaking their aircraft for drones. And they're concerned tonight, Wolf, that things could even get more dangerous with people potentially opening fire with a firearm on those airplanes. The FBI warning not only is that against the law, as you can imagine, it's extremely dangerous.
Extremely dangerous indeed. We're very worried about that. Polo Sandoval in New York for us. Thanks for that report. I want to bring in New Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer right now. He's a key member of the House Intelligence Committee. He's watching what's going on right now very closely. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. I know you're working on legislation to try to boost drone detection. Federal officials are now sending those types of systems to various military facilities, including near your district in New Jersey. How far do you think that will go in solving this current issue?
Well, first of all, Wolf, I think it's critically important that they're finally taking this step. I've been calling for this to get technology in there, to work with local partners, local law enforcement, who are getting the brunt of the phone calls. We've been receiving a lot of phone calls. First, you can't tell people they're not seeing things that they're seeing with their own eyes, right? And I think the federal government, DHS and FBI have made a mistake by doing that. You've got to give people more information. And I think we're starting to see that. Obviously, Secretary Mayorkas said clearly people are seeing these drones, which is a reversal of where they were. And I think that's important. Don't tell people they're not seeing things, but you actually have to give them information. And I've called on this today, do a proper briefing. Get the FBI out there and DHS and FAA and tell people what's going on, right? And I think that information is critically important. And then my legislation, bipartisan, says let's give local law enforcement the tools they need to actually monitor these drones, to monitor the activity, and if necessary, to work with federal partners to get these drones out of the sky if they're going to places they shouldn't be, over reservoirs, over military bases, over airports. Let's make sure we're safe and that people feel safe.
In the past, you've said, Congressman, that you agree with officials that these drones don't appear to be a public safety threat. So how would you explain what's going on here?
Well, I think based on the briefings I've had with the FBI and Homeland Security and from our governor, I really feel, based on what I've seen, what they're able to track, that there's not an imminent public safety threat. However, that doesn't mean we shouldn't tell people what they are, where all this drone activity is coming from. Are they being used for any reconnaissance or any information collecting, right? Are they authorized, commercial? Are they there for, are they licensed or not? I'm not talking about little drones that people fly up at the beach or at their house. I'm talking about these large drones that people are telling us they're seeing and obviously sending in photos of. I set up a site today where people can send in information to us to help collect this information that I can share with the intelligence community and the FBI so that we have some evidence gathered, and then let's let the government tell people what exactly they know. And I think, Wolf, that's the key. Be transparent. Don't insult people and tell them they're not seeing anything. Come clean with folks. Give them the information, and then everybody, I think, will feel better once they have more information of what's out there.
More information, the better. I know you've just criticized public officials for not sharing more details. So why hasn't the Biden administration given the American public more information right now so that the American people can be assured that they're okay?
Well, I've asked the FBI, I've asked Homeland Security, I've asked the FAA to do just that, to actually come out there. I'm not sure why they're not giving us more information. I have an intelligence briefing, I believe, tomorrow on this, in a classified setting. But my point is, you have to come out to the public, the FBI, and actually bring this information out there. Do a press conference. Don't just put out a piece of paper. Answer people's questions. Explain to people what's happening, where these drones are coming from. Because I think people have a right to understand what it is that we know on this. And, I feel based on what I've seen that there's no imminent threat. But that, of course, doesn't explain actually where this is all coming from and where these drones are from and what they're doing and making sure that we're safe so people cannot be worried about this. And that's the legislation I've introduced to make sure we stop any threatening drones out there that are threatening public safety, but also give people information, and I bet they'll feel better, because otherwise you leave a big vacuum, and that's exactly what people are filling up right now.
Yeah, important points indeed. Let me turn to the breaking news today out of Madison, Wisconsin, Congressman, where, as you know, a 17-year-old female gunman killed a student and a teacher and injured 6 others, including 2 of them very, very seriously life-threatening conditions. We're just getting the first student account of what happened out there. I want you and our viewers to listen to this.
I was in English, and then they said it was a lockdown drill, so we went to the side of the building, and then we went to the church after they came and got us. Yeah, and then we just waited. They gave us some food, and then waited for them to transport us to the hospital and get our moms and dads.
Did you hear gunshots?
Yeah, I heard.
Tell me what happened.
We heard them, and then some people started crying, and then we just waited till the police came, and then they escorted us out to the church.
How many gunshots did you hear?
I heard 2.
And what were you thinking? What are you thinking now?
I was scared.
So what's your reaction to that, Congressman?
I mean, the whole thing, Wolf, is just beyond heartbreaking. I've got 2 kids and one daughter in high school, and it's your parents' worst nightmare, right? It's, as a parent, it's our worst nightmare that you see this. And what do I think? I think, Wolf, first of all, I think we all around this country just want these kids to be okay, and I can't imagine what they're all going through, especially those who lost loved ones, and our heart breaks. But this just reminds us of the action that we must take, and we've taken bipartisan action, which I was very proud of helping on common sense gun safety, but clearly we have a lot more to do. And I think if these things like this aren't a wake-up call, whether you're talking about more background checks or going after weapons of war, like assault rifles, and we've got to take that action, and you know that, I think we all know that, and these reminders are just, it's so painful to see this and listen to those kids.
83 school shootings in the United States so far this year alone. Congressman Josh Gottheimer, thanks so much for joining us.